one place it will be right, the next.
Are you ready, ma'am? Okay. Good morning, and it's 9:00 a.m. I'd like to open this meeting of the Keene Economic Development Corporation, Type A, EDC, regular meeting at the Keene City Hall. If you will, if you rise, I'll have invocation, and we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. Stand, please. Kind Heavenly Father, we thank you today that we have the opportunity to be here to do some service for the city of Keene. We ask that you would give us wisdom and knowledge as we just make these discussions today and make decisions that's best for the city, for the citizens. Be with all the first responders, keep them safe today. Be with all of our young men and ladies in this military service for our country. Bless them too. This is our prayer. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Excuse my crying. I don't have any special remarks, so we'll skip that part. City Administrator, do you want to make some remarks now, or you want to make them later?
Yeah, later's fine.
Okay, too cold for him to talk this morning. And we have a gentleman called Paul Knott who wants to speak, and he filled out a yellow card. So, Mr. Knott, 3 minutes, 4 minutes is yours. 5.
It's fine. I'll hurry real quick, Mr. Beeson.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Type A.
Morning.
Appreciate your service. Thank you very much, Type A. You can follow along this presentation here in this yellow piece of paper. That'll kind of be my agenda. And the first item I want to discuss is the Business Expo. Type A has been kind enough, for our records show, at least 12 years to provide $2,000, $2,300, $3,000, $2,500 for Expo, and so that's what we're asking for again this year. I hope that's in your budget. I think it is, but I just want to confirm that. As you can see on the white sheet of paper there that you have, Type A and Type B are both listed as major sponsors. That's the advertisement that appeared last year in the Times Review. It's also our posters that are distributed in any other media communication that we have. Type A is mentioned and honored as a major sponsor. Next, I want to talk about our membership directory.
So A and B each split this 2,500?
No, A and B each contribute.
Each contributes 2,500.
Yes. So I'm asking for A to
I like my idea better.
2,500. Pardon me? No.
Well, I
Maybe a
believe
good idea, but it's not what we're after.
we have money in our budget over in department service cost, I believe, at advertising promotions and that area. We have enough money to make that expenditure if you lady and gentlemen want to do that. We've opened for discussion or any.
One question.
One question.
Are you trying to get all of this approved at one time?
I'm just presenting it to you. No.
Oh.
Only,
Oh, okay.
I'm just
Okay.
presenting it to you.
Thank
So
you.
one at a time. Well, I want,
Thank you for pointing that out, yeah.
yeah.
It's not an
Thank
agenda
you.
item, so we
Well, I
can't,
make a motion that we,
you can't, it's not an agenda item.
Not on agenda,
Well,
okay.
he's just basically letting us
Okay.
know what we're doing currently and what he's asking for next year, and then we'll come back when we start working
Okay,
on the
thank
budget
you.
and have presentations.
Any questions to Paul there? We can ask questions. Or we
Sure.
just- I thought, like you, I thought we would.
yeah.
Any questions, anybody? It's,
Well, I have a question. I don't know, you must be getting money from somewhere else to do the fireworks for the Christmas parade, because I'll guarantee you, if you're only getting 3,000 from each A and B, that's not gonna cover fireworks the way you presented them this year.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Wes, I'll answer that in just a second. Let me just continue here with this agenda I have. And so, yes, I do think the 2,500 for Expo is in your budget. I just want to confirm that. I know it's on the agenda item. We can take care of it next time. When we did the old directory in 2015, Type A and Type B shared this last page, and each paid $1,250. $1,250 from A, $1,250 from B. That was in 2015. Our current directory, and I'm telling you this because now we're doing a 2024-25 directory. Our current directory was out of room, and we could not afford any more pages when we got to the back cover and the inside back page. So what we did was charge A and B $500 each, and you agreed that you could live with one page for a total of $1,000. And that's what I'm recommending for your 2024 budget. The last three items I have, their membership directory, the banquet, and the Christmas light parade, have asterisks next to them, or should, to put this in your 2024 budget. So we're not raising our fees on anybody for the 2024-25 directory. And I'm just suggesting that I'm hoping you're happy with this last page.
Okay.
And that would be what we would suggest for you at $500 per board. Okay, the banquet is October 24. That'll be in the 2024 budget. You've been kind enough to provide $750 financial support for that. We list you as a major sponsor, and so I'm asking that also. Then, Wes, to your question. If you look at this young orange sheet of paper where it's labeled "People Behind the Scenes," I'm just here to acknowledge of the 66 people, 11 Keene police and 8 firefighters, as you see listed there. Those 19 people were very visible. But behind the scenes were 47 other people. 47 others that, there was an estimated 4,300 people along Old Betsy Road and up Hillcrest and even down 4th Street and Mockingbird. The police and fire have estimated a spectator count of 4,300. Those people did not see the other 47. They had no idea about the registration people, the judges, our starters. And so I want to acknowledge them. I'm really sorry. Then on the other side of this sheet of paper, Wes, this will answer your question. Where did we get the financial support from for our fireworks? And Type A and Type B lead that list with, you were giving $2,000 a year for many years. Then our costs went up 30%. So you gave $2,600 for the last couple of years. Then under that, I can just tell you Pinnacle Bank comes in at $2,000, Oliver Technologies $1,500, the Adventist Conference $500, KTH Transportation $500. Then all below that, below Southwestern, is anywhere from $400 to $130. But there's tremendous financial support for that because it is, those fireworks are about $600 a minute when we calculate that. So, but I felt good about the entire show, and if you could look at everything that was on Facebook, there was really a positive feeling about the parade and the fireworks show. And here's the thing, and this is what this is the major increase that we're asking. The parade is a big deal, and safety is a big deal. And all of our vests have lost their reflectivity. We need bigger flashlights with bigger red cones for safety. And so we're going to ask Type A and Type B to step up from $2,600 to $3,000 next year. We need more signage. These 14 starters, we have 8 at Pinnacle Bank and another 8 or 10 at Leisky Poulter. Praise God, there was no injuries, no one was hurt, no accidents. And so that's only the Lord blessing that event. That's all that is. But we can do a little bit of our part by increasing the safety measures and procedures we have, and we just need a little bit more money to do that. So, does that answer your question, Mr. Sherman?
It does.
Okay. So thank you, Type A, and I hope you can put those additional bottom 3 items in your budget for 2024. And those expenses don't occur until deep into 2024 anyway. The banquet's in October, the parade is in October. And for the directory, we just won't bill you until then. That was last year's, Mrs. Gillen.
That's what I was gonna say.
And that's what appears in the Cleburne Times Review. In fact, that's what that's from. It's a color ad. It's also on all of our posters.
So when is it gonna be this year?
Expo is the 25th of February,
Okay.
Sunday, February 25. It'll be our 20th.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
You got me going now.
We have some water if you'd like some, sir.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Okay.
Any other questions for me, Mr. Thorne?
We, looking at our advertised promotions budget, we're gonna really run it close. That'll be all we have plus whatever, we may need a little more if it's strictly from that budget, but it looks like we have about 9,300 left and this is gonna be whatever, so. If you'll notice though, on this orange piece of paper where it says dignitary drivers, James Bells, he just walked in the room.
Right, just walked
I don't
in,
know if we need to stand up or anything.
drove himself.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for being here.
No, but many of you have been involved. I mean, Wes Schramm is a starter. Don, you've driven before. Samantha, you've been involved. Cody may need you as a starter this year.
So we'll look for you to be on the February agenda on this Business Expo money, right?
Yes, yes, to ask officially in February.
Okay, well, it just said request for financial support. And I'm
Yes.
Samantha, I thought you were here to do that right now. Okay,
I don't think that's I will if it's on your,
we're really looking
Agenda.
forward to seeing you next month. We're pretty excited about that.
well, I'm way over my 3 minutes. Thank you for this time. Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Next month is February.
Well,
The expo is February.
Yeah, early, yeah,
Okay.
you'll have to, okay. All right, thank you, Paul. Citizens comment, that was it. General discussion, take possible action. Our minutes, our consider approval of the type A economic development minutes dated November 15. That seems an awful long time ago, but that's when we had our last meeting. If you'll take a moment to look over those.
And I want to thank Kit. She helped me do those.
Do I now?
I said I want to thank Kit. She helped me do those.
Oh, well, I thank you for doing that, helping him. He needs all the help he can get. So. Anybody see anything wrong or in there that you want to bring up? Speak up on it.
I move to approve the minutes from November 15, 2023.
Okay, well, motion to move to accept the minutes.
A second.
Seconded over here by Samantha. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Right hand, please. Oh, I'm sorry. I would have taken your left. You're from Canada, so. All right, passes now. Our second one would be our financial statement for November and December. Don, you going to present that, or? Brent?
I guess. I haven't seen Charles or Miss Dinah yet, so you have those. Should have 2 months in there for November and December in your packets. Get to those.
I assume if there's any questions, we're going to have to hold those till we get a chance to talk to the man that made all this out. Otherwise, we can look it over and discuss it among ourselves or with the city manager or administrator there, assistant city manager.
So the comment I would make is, I know Charles pretty much just goes through by the percentage of the year
Right.
and charges them off, and it looks like we're in line at this point. We're supposed to be 25% target, and right now it looks like we're at 22.8% of what our budget is, the expenditures.
Correct.
And so I don't see any issues.
Is that now, you're talking about which one of the two you're speaking of? There's two.
Well, the first page,
First
if you
page.
look at the upper right, yellow, says
Okay,
25%
says-
target.
Right.
And then the next yellow down is the total for the year is 22.8%.
Okay, that's
That's on the same page, just
for
below.
December's. Okay, December's.
Yep.
I was wondering which one you were looking at. I
Yeah.
see that on December's. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. We were slightly over then, our target.
Slightly
Under.
Under.
Right, under.
correct.
Just where we'd rather be.
My goodness, on November, we were doing really good. We were
Yeah,
under.
just slightly under 2. It's also, we'd rather be more than slightly under, but slightly is better than over. Once we've discussed this, feel like we've been looked at enough, we're open for any motions.
Individually,
Should we do them individually or combined? Does it matter?
You can do them together.
Doesn't matter.
I make a motion that we accept the, the budgets for, 2023, the November 23 and the December 23 budgets,
Financial statement, okay.
financial statements.
Motion on the floor to accept.
I'll second the motion.
Second on the motion. Cody? All those in favor, raise your hand again, please. Thank you, it's passed, ma'am. Looks like our next item, and I believe we have the folks here that'll cover it. Discussion on land at industrial park improvements from trailers to trash.
Did I get that correct?
Okay,
Mr. Wellenwolf
go ahead, come on up.
here. We can't talk about the
we're just gonna listen to what
portion
he-
of it, but he's just gonna kind of give a brief description of his company and, what his kind of plans are for those parcels that he's interested in at the industrial park.
Okay, just for the record, if you would introduce yourself and your address on the mic so we can have it recorded over there, please.
Yes, sir.
All right,
My name is Waylon Wolf Jr., and my personal address is 9112 Sierras Lane, Godley, Texas. And my current business address is 441 Haltom Road, Fort Worth, Texas.
okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead, the floor is yours.
As we had spoke a few months ago, we were looking to relocate our business operations out of Fort Worth out this way and had addressed y'all on some properties that y'all owned, et cetera. After looking at the properties and speaking with Dawn and going back and forth, we've put together a proposal, which I think y'all should have in front of you, of us trying to purchase 4 parcels of your industrial land for the growth of our current businesses. Part of that would be like my company 915 Investments is the actual real estate company that
Okay.
would lease the property back to my other entities, the Waylon Wolf Jr. Enterprises, Trailers to Trash, Easy Truck Parts of Texas, T2T Services. Those entities are the T2T Services where we do service work for heavy equipment, in-state and out-of-state, on-site services as well as refabrication work, et cetera, at our current facility in Fort Worth, Texas. As I spoke before, I started the company myself in 2013 with $100. In 2020, we busted almost $20 million. Accrual, not cash, $14 million on cash collected. And I'm a 100% owner of all of it and have did it with 0 investors or backers, et cetera. We're currently still growing. We had some growing pains during the COVID 2020 era that forced us back in 2021, but now with the way that the world is going with people actually wanting to work with hands-on technical stuff and stuff, it's hard for our clients to get their own internal people. So one of my things is I wanted to focus on is working with a city that we could also input some internships with like high schools. Like that's the things that I take people and bring them into our facility and they work after school, or we've gotten a few people actually that are not such a good place in their life and turned them completely around. And now they've got a good job and a career. So these tracks would work for us as in our future growth, as in our first track we would develop immediately if approved, as well as work with the city on the improvements of the streets.
Let me interrupt you just one second. You have this, there's one, that has this web map, we can look at along, okay. I want to make sure everybody knew that we could look along, follow along as you talk about the tracks.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
So the first 5-acre parcel, we already currently own a 85 by 125 brand-new prefab building from FMI.
Right.
as well as a 48 by 50 prefab building that have never been erected, but they're totally paid for. It's about $400,000 that are sitting at my property. That if this is approved and we're able to purchase the property, we could immediately, you know, going through the city and the guidelines, et cetera, start construction. I mean, we would start the minute permits and things. I'm not a contractor, but how all that process works. There would be no sitting still. Then we would relocate from our current location to the new location, and once we got that relocation done, which would probably take us, I would say, probably a month, maybe a month and a half to get all of our equipment moved down there, shop supplies, different things. Then we would start on the next parcel, which was a 3-acre parcel, and we would build another facility of somewhere around 6,000 to 10,000 square feet, where we would want to start fabricating and doing hydraulic cylinder repair. So currently, we outsource our fabrication work to a company called K&H Truck Weld in Saginaw, Texas. Last year alone, I've spent over $400,000 in just outsourcing fabrication work to one person or one company. I want to try to capture that and bring it in-house. I like creating jobs, I like helping people, but also I like having a little bit of control of when I can tell my customer it's going to be done or it's not going to be done. I mean, we've all probably felt that. I think you're a business owner as well. The other 2 parcels, the 10-acre tracts, or something as we've grew so fast that we've already actually outgrown the 14 acres that we're currently leasing, and we continue to put money. We've added a 6,000 square foot shop 2 years ago, fence, tons of gravel, office space, et cetera. So we're just kind of getting tired of putting our money into somebody else's property. We do currently have a 10-year lease, which has about 8 years left on it. My leaser, or the person I lease from, say that correctly, we have in there that, I mean, I can give a 90-day notice and leave with no bad blood. We're actually really good friends, and plus I've put $350,000 in his property after we signed the lease, so he's not going to have a problem doing something with it. So the other 2 10-acre tracts would be stuff that we would want to develop in the future. When I say future, probably within, I would say I'd put a close timeline within a few years as we have more needs of different opportunities that we get our hands on. Our current shop space is about 8,000 square foot right now, and we're probably doing that plus about an acre and a half worth of space out in the yard of our facility that we're also working on equipment. So we need quite a bit of space to get this stuff inside. One of the other things I've put in here is I noticed that, in speaking with Dawn, is 317, eventually at some point the city's gonna want to try to fix that at a later date.
Right.
And that church has kind of got that curve there, so really it would make sense for y'all to go out and around instead of going right by the front doorsteps. I've reached out to some people in Keene. One of them is Tammy, who owns Bob's Disposal, who I'm friends with and do a lot of work with. And her father, Bob, actually goes to church there, been going to church there for years. So I've brought it up to maybe if this was to work out, I would try to work with them and get them as where I could re-grant them or somehow do a 1031 exchange, and I would build them like a 2,000 square foot metal building mess hall or whatever the city would approve to get that chunk of that slice pie in return for the city, instead of having to spend all that money to go out and around, where you could actually safely go through there. If that's something that would work for y'all, we're happily to, you know, go those avenues. We want to work with y'all, and also y'all work with us.
So I have a question about the church. They have a cemetery there, so you're going to be able to stay well back of the cemetery, correct?
I'm talking about their property that's on the east side of 317.
I understand, but if you're going to straighten the road out, are you going to move the road over to the west?
Well, that wouldn't be him, that'd be us, whatever. we
Okay,
decided.
but,
Yeah.
but
He would
there is
just-
a cemetery there. and
His part, I think, is trading out with them, so they'll move everything to one side, so we can go straight
Okay,
through that existing building there now, I believe, if I understood you right.
Yeah, so they have the cemetery and the main church building on the west side of 317, and then they have that little sliver that's like a pizza slice,
right.
that has about a 900 square foot building there, but they don't even use it anymore. because it's outdated. So what I'm proposing is basically taking some of that 10 acres of that wooded property that y'all have, deed them, grant them 1031 exchange, however that would work, an acre going back east in exchange for that pie there, that you wouldn't have to go all the way out. We wouldn't touch the cemetery or go near the cemetery. That would basically remove that 900 square foot building that you're zigzagging through, and then you could just kind of, you would basically move over 50 feet or X amount of feet instead of almost a half a mile of concrete and water lines and et cetera.
At one time, Wes, might have been before you got here, we were talking about going behind that east building totally with with 317 someday. And what I think, if I understand it right, you're just arranging it so we can just go straight.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
We're not
like
having
so.
to go behind the building. We won't touch the cemetery. It'll just go straight. There won't be any building there in the future.
Okay.
That's what you're envisioning anyway, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
I want to
sir.
make sure I understood what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
That's a fine deal for,
Makes sense.
they shouldn't mind that a bit.
It makes sense.
I haven't personally went and spoke with them, but Tammy's spoken to her father, Bob, about it, and they would be tickled is what,
I bet they
you know,
would,
if we,
yeah.
especially when we putting them up a new
New
facility. It'd basically be for their dinners or weddings or, you know, funerals, a mess hall. They're still gonna use the old church to do their services.
And a road that they can get up and down on.
And a road that doesn't come to their front doorstep. Yeah. That's all written in here. You know, Don has asked me to put, you know, certain languages to kind of help everybody understand. I'm not a big typer, and I can tell you about it, but I've had some help from the young lady with me. Her name is Brooke Brown. She's one of my great friends. She's married to one of my best friends, and she's also a real estate agent who helps me with this type of stuff. So she's helped me kind of get to understand what people y'all would want to see, and so we could, if we were able to get a deal, we could put it all where it's real nice and tight for y'all. As in speaking of the roads, like if in phase one, I've put in there, like the road that goes from the current existing industrial park that goes to the cul-de-sac, if this is approved and we're able to purchase during our construction of the first 5 acres, we would cover the 650 feet, 30-foot wide, all the way to the second section of land, which was a 10-acre and another 10-acre. And then there's a 2-acre sliver in there I think the city also owns, which your future goal was to connect that road from 317 across to 318. And the next phase, when the city, if we get the church to move and we can get the city, whenever that plan is, and y'all decide to be able to get 317 start constructing, then I would personally, or 915 would, continue that road from the industrial park, the 650 feet, all the way across to 317 at our expense. The only thing we would ask from the city is like your civil engineer, how you want it built, so we can do it, you know, hire the contractor to do it that way.
And that would include utilities that would go with that.
I think in here I asked for the city to cover the water, the electric, and the sewer. But if that's something that
Water,
we need,
yeah, permit, survey, water lines, sewer lines, and electric lines. That would be our responsibility.
yes, sir.
That's the last paragraph on the front page, if you have that dated January the 12th memo or email.
Yes, phase 3 and 4. And that's something at that time, I mean, if y'all want to put in there that, I don't know where you're going to want your sewer lines, where you're going to want your power lines. I can't speak for the complete future of it, but I'll definitely be able to work with you on getting that done. I think there's already sewer lines. I saw there's sewer lines and water lines through there at some capacity. I just don't know where they stop and end. And there's already power lines through there, I believe.
There's sewer and water in the vicinity of both those, or all those parcels, but not where the actual road is, other than just water. When Texas Pocket Springs expanded their latest building, they did extend that water line down, but we'll talk to them about that when we go into executive session.
Okay, yes, sir. So to clarify the utilities on phase 3 and 4, that would be for the road area. I'm not asking y'all to cover the water and the sewer and stuff from where you currently have it to the facility that we're trying to get constructed. Like, we understand where that's at, and that's gonna be on us to get it from y'all's tap and to us. It's just when we start doing the roads, if we're gonna put sewer lines and all that stuff in, I'm gonna need some guidance and understanding where the city wants it and how they want it before we start pouring concrete.
So I have a real estate question, because if you're gonna buy the first 10 acres, then you're wanting to potentially purchase some of the other properties. How are you gonna tie that up financially so we don't sell it to somebody else?
We'll discuss that when we get in an executive session.
Okay,
It's a good question. Remember it,
okay.
because I'll forget it. Glad you remember.
Anything else that I can say?
When you were here before, and then maybe you alluded to it a while ago, talked about some, I forget what it was, some parts sales. I'll just put it that way. Is there anything in there that you'll be doing this retail sales that could generate?
Yes, sir.
sales
So
back?
at our current facility now, we do sell parts, but.
That's what it was.
Yes, sir. So like when a customer brings us a truck or a piece of equipment, we go buy the parts, put them on, resell them on that invoice. So there's taxes and things that your question is.
Bottom line, what I was asking for.
The easy truck parts part, which was what we do online, we market it online. I have done some research on that. If it's bought in the state of Texas, then the state of Texas gets it. If they have a certificate of non-tax, exempt, then however that works would get it. If they buy it online, it's kind of a gray area. I have to keep digging on it, is we could still charge them the taxes here. Just like when you buy a ticket online from American Airlines or South, whoever they're from, you're still paying the taxes. I just don't know what way that money would be directed. But that's definitely something we definitely would look into, so y'all would get that.
There is some retail sales. That was the.
Retail, yes, sir. No, we do retail equipment too. So we have I have a dealer's license for wholesale retail. And I mean, at the minimum, some of our equipment is about $75,000 to some we've sold is up to $400,000. That is taxable, unless it's dealer to dealer and it's a wholesale.
Okay, yeah. That was my only question. I really have.
Yes, sir.
I can ask here. Anybody else? Have you finished? I'm sorry.
I have another question.
No, wait a minute.
This might be my last question.
Okay.
So when you bring equipment in to work on it, and say it's a disabled garbage truck,
Yes.
how often do you get those in full, and how long do they sit there full ripening?
So we actually have the customer dump them, okay? Now, if there is a case that one comes in, like for instance, it had a harness that caught on fire and they couldn't operate it, what we do is we either have it hooked to the landfill, and we have a system that's a hydraulic pony motor that we tee into the actual current hydraulic lines and dump them at like the Turkey Creek landfill, or at our current facility, there's a transfer station on Minish Drive in 121. We don't do any dumping on our facility there, sir. But we want to get them dumped as fast as possible. But that's, out of probably the 300 units that we touch at our facility of refuse, there's probably maybe less than 5% that come in with waste on it that's going to be there for a minute. For instance, we have one right now from Bob's that she had burnt the motor up that probably has a quarter of load on it. It is contained. It's in a contained area. We've already got the motor out. We're rebuilding it. It'll be at the facility maybe 6 days, and we kick it out. But when they come in fully loaded and they're going to be there for a minute, we request that the customer take it. I mean, that's one of our major requests, that they have it dumped, or we charge them a fee. They can have it towed to us, and then we have it hooked and get it dumped for them at their expense.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
They don't want it longer than you want it there. I guarantee you. Now, for that full concrete trucks might be something different.
Full concrete trucks, full concrete trucks. So whenever one comes in with a drum where it had an issue and the concrete set or flashed in the drum, We actually hire a wrecker service. We put these hooks on the drum because they're extremely heavy, and we hire a wrecker service to come out, lift the drum off, and then we install the new drum. Currently, what we do is we can set the old drum on the ground and cut it in half, and then we can get a sheep's foot roller, and then we smash it and crush it up, and then we can use it as like a road base on our current facility. But we don't do a ton of concrete drum replacements that are full at our facility. Usually when the customers call for that, we go to like the Ready Mix or the Ingram site, and we do it there on
Here.
site.
Mr. Electrician, you have any questions?
No,
I thought you'd have some technical to ask about how much,
have any technical questions?
what is they needed or juice or whatever.
I'll come
All right.
up with some, but I don't know.
You can have one more if you have a good question.
I think I've run out of questions.
Okay. And this is just an informational session, just
Yes, sir.
to let us know for sure, again, what his business is, because it's been several months since we heard him, and we'll talk about the details back in the back instead of the public
Yes, sir.
right now, so.
I'll say this, it'll be beautiful.
We are,
It'll be really nice.
hopefully, we can give you something to smile about or frown about here in a few minutes, so.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
No, I'm good.
Oh, no, okay, is that all right? Any questions?
Good.
Don, anything Mayor, City Manager, you got anything over there? Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you very much, and thank you for coming with me, ma'am. I'm gonna really embarrass myself, because the young lady in the back, sitting behind James, I know she works the finance, but I forget her name.
Dinah.
We went through our financials already, do you have anything to talk about? Do you have anything to speak about the financials at all? I didn't, okay.
She said if you have anything you need to take to Charles, she'll take notes and bring it back to him.
Okay, I don't think we had anything, did we? We passed them like they were, so I don't,
Just tell him thank you for what he does for us all the time.
yeah.
It's appreciated.
Okay. Anything else before we go to the next item, if I can find our agenda again? Which is going to be our executive session. Any other questions, any that we missed before or anything like that? James, you have any words of wisdom for us before we go to the back? Okay. No words of wisdom. Okay. All right. If we have nothing else to talk about in open session, I will read this. Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, Texas Government Code. The board members may convene into executive session at any time during the meeting that a need arises. So what we're going to do, we're going to adjourn into executive session per section 551.072, deliberations of real property. And at this time, it's 9:37, and we will convene into executive session, okay? Are you ready, Kit? Okay. At this time, 10:13 a.m., we've completed our executive session, and we're back in open session at this time. And the floor is open for any motions that need to be made regarding discussions. Okay.
I make a motion to move forward with the accepting this offer.
Samantha?
Your mic,
Yeah, can you,
is your mic on?
just need it a little closer to your mouth so we can hear. There you go.
Okay. I make a motion to move forward with accepting this offer for the four current properties pending the final language in the contract and approval of our city council.
Second?
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor and approve in a second. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Motion's passed. All right, thank you very much for that. Let me get our agenda back up here again, see what I've done with it. Do-do-do. One second. All right. All right, that completes our executive session. Request for future agenda items. Anything on the, that you'd like to see put on the February E-Board agenda?
We need to do the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, that'll
That'll
Chamber
be
of
on the
Commerce
next one.
request will be on there,
Uh,
of course, all right?
I have one thing that went on the agenda that was on, let's see, where is it? Good grief. It was here. It might have been on the minutes before, where we were talking about whether the B board and the A board, whether the type A board and the B board could work together to get a new police station.
There you
Did
go.
we ever get the information on that?
I don't think that's,
We have.
just had time to do that.
No,
Probably
we
do
haven't
they?
had time, but, you know, council did approve that A board can work on any approved B board project.
Okay,
So that's like the first step. We have an ordinance for that now.
We haven't had any,
That particular
Okay,
one or
so-
not, we can look into.
no, there's no amount of what that might cost has been determined yet.
No.
Where or what, no. But we can do it, though.
well, that's good.
We
When
will
we,
have to have a discussion on County Road 317 also.
Yeah, okay.
Discuss
Yeah,
that.
additional discussion on County Road 317 next time we talk. We'll meet.
I got, police station, looking into that, County Road 317, and what was the,
It's the same thing. I'd like to be able to get quotes and find out what it's gonna take to, repair 317.
okay.
Okay,
Anything else?
is that it? All right, then, we will stand adjourned at 10:17 a.m., and we thank everybody for being here. James, I need to ask you.